It supposedly has a built motor, but we're gonna see about that. I know it's gonna be a nightmare to get it back on the road again. The frame is clean, there's not a lot of rust. This is the first day of working on the Supra. We're about to throw it up on the lift and start yanking the engine out of it. First thing is to get these wheel chocks under it so that we can roll it around as we need to. Let's get to it. One here on this side with these two bolts. There's one here where the alternator is, and then I got two more bolts hooked up over there, so hopefully I can just get that set up on the hoist, pull it right out. So before I get started, a word to the wise is if I was to buy this Harbor Freight engine stand again, I would have gotten the heavier duty one. Not because it can't support this weight, but because of how long the straight 6 is. You can see that it is not flat. And I got these bolts as tight as I can. I picked it up as straight as I could and tightened them. Another thing too is with the engine hoist, they have a heavier duty one, which is like way more weight capacity than what I need, so I didn't buy it. However, that one is longer, the boom is longer, so you can actually pick the engine up from the middle versus me. It was hitting this shroud up here, and I should have got the heavier duty one. It's worth the extra 20 bucks that it is, but I wouldn't go out and buy it all again now. I just make that stuff work. But either way, got the engine out, about to take the oil pan off. This is really going to tell the tale of if the motor is toast or not. The previous owner told me that he got the engine running like with some starting fluid and whatever, but I drained the oil out of it and there was like 1/4 of a quart of oil in there. So that's no bueno. But let's take this off. Let's see what's under here. I am scared. Well, there's metal in the oil pan, and there's a lot of it. It's probably from I'm not gonna say too much yet. Oil is very, very sludgy, but it is probably about 9 years old. Pickup tube. It isn't trashed. Is that metal? Yeah, it's definitely a good bit of metal flakes and whatnot in there. So supposedly this engine was just rebuilt before the car was, before it was stored away for 9 years. So I'll be completely honest, it doesn't really look like that was the case. I'm looking into the pistons. I definitely see a little bit of scoring from where it looks like he started trying to, oh yeah. There's a good bit of scoring, but it doesn't look like anything that's not savable. I haven't seen anything yet that makes me say we gotta bring it to the scrapyard yet. Definitely need to tear it down and go pretty thoroughly on it. It's got all the oil squirters in there. Seeing if anything's loose significantly. Ooh. Yeah, this has got, oh wow. Yeah, so I bet that this thing had rod knock. Holy shit. These are Eagle ARP studs right here. So there's our first sign that this thing might have decent parts in it. It looks to me like it is a factory crankshaft. However, I'm not too knowledgeable about this stuff. It's very possible that these also might be upgraded rods. But that does not look like it's from 1989. So it's possible that this has got some decent rods in it, maybe some decent pistons. It doesn't appear to be blown up. I'm sure that it had some rod knock. If I can just shake that with my hand. Yeah, that's bad. The rest of them seem good. And maybe the reason it had rod knock is because there was only a quart of oil in it. Oh yeah, here we go. That's bad too. So it's possible that it's possible the crankshaft might be toast. Won't know till I start tearing it down more. So I just took the head off and I'm actually really surprised with how good all of this looks. You can still see some cross hatching from the last time that this was machined. These are aftermarket pistons that are billet aluminum, which is very exciting. There's not too much rust in these cylinders. It looks like they can get cleaned up pretty easily, not have to take off too much material. So all 5 of these pistons look pretty good, but this first one is completely black. A lot of carbon buildup on there. And if you come and look at the head, this first fuel injector right here is like a brown color where all the rest of them are silver. So I believe that that is the fuel injector that may have gotten stuck open or something along those lines, dumped a whole bunch of fuel into the cylinder, the fuel got into the crank and it mixed with the oil and eventually spun a rod. But I'm blown away that there isn't more damage done to the motor than this. However, look at this. So these guys that put the motor together use way too much RTV, and look at this. They blocked off like half of the coolant passages. So I'm not sure what the condition of the head's going to be in as a result of this. Everything that I've seen looks fine, but I would not be surprised if it overheated to the point where it may have caused permanent damage. But this is why you don't RTV the head gasket on there, because this is supposed to be wide open for the coolant to flow through. So hopefully the head's all going to be good to go. Really, there's not too much that'll go wrong. I'm going to put big cams in it anyway, so I don't really care about the stock cam condition. Hopefully all the bearings and whatnot are still intact up there. I'll start tearing into it more, but I just wanted to get the head off of this thing and really check out what the condition was under here, because I'm feeling pretty positive, because if I don't have to spend money on forged pistons and rods, I'm going to spend my money elsewhere. So that means that this thing's really going to be awesome. So that's hype.